staff, management, or ownership of this station.
It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry and Jason Bible. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from...
Are you there, Nikki?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. We lost you for a second.
Did you hear that?
No. Ladies and gentlemen.
You're taking calls at 713-785-1817.
All right,
That's
gentlemen.
Toll-free,
Stand by.
877-881-0271. Here's Tom and Jason.
Hot mics.
Hey, welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate Radio. We're right in front of Mount Everest today. We're a live call-in show if you want to call and ask questions. You got a lot of questions yesterday. You were out at the Fort Bend RIA last night.
I was just thinking, Nikki was singing to us there before the break. I was thinking about changing the bump music this year, but then I decided not to, really, because I got too lazy and there's other stuff going on.
There's
but
a
I'm glad
few
I
things
didn't
on the list, higher priority, yeah.
And then I'm sitting here reading Facebook. By the way, we are a live show. It's January 3rd. It's Tom and I in studio.
First time in studio together this year?
First time, yeah. We haven't seen each other in a year.
well.
So,
on the air.
On the air,
Right.
yeah. So people post weird stuff on Facebook. And maybe it's just because I'm attracting a weird group of people. But I'm reading on the New Year's resolutions. And this is it's stuff like this. I'm going to read it. It says, 2018 is the year I release any and all inner demons that cleanse the soul for a purpose. I think that's supposed to be a purposeful...
prosperous.
Oh, prosperous. Sorry,
Yeah.
a prosperous lifestyle.
Yeah.
What is... This is weird. What does that even mean? Anyway, so... Facebook has been fun for me to watch the last couple of
I
days.
picture some comment in a Brillo pad, on their soul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyhow. All right, back to real estate.
I'm here to cleanse my
Yeah.
life.
Well, it's interesting because I actually went to the gym 4 out of the last 6 days in the end of the year, and the gym was basically empty.
It's probably still empty.
Yeah,
huh?
and well, actually, they were saying, hey, everybody makes their New Year's resolutions. Now, I will say this, Clay Cahoon, I'll give him a shout out. He did post something pretty funny that he's going to open up a gym, and it's going to be a gym for the first 2 weeks of the year, and then it'll convert to a bar for the rest of the year.
I like it.
And there'll be a taco truck right outside.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is? The New Year's resolutions really don't start until school starts.
Yeah, of
which
course,
is the
right.
8th, which I think
Next
HISD
Tuesday.
is back, and then next Tuesday, the 8th, is for Fort Bend. And so that's when the gyms are going to get really busy. And then 2-3 weeks into middle of February,
About
it'll
the
be a
time the
ghost
soreness
town.
sets in.
That's right.
Yeah, and people
It's
are like,
about the
F
time
this.
you go, wait a second, this looks like real work.
Right.
And actually, real estate
Like,
investing
forget this. That's what the F was, just for those
That's
y'all.
right, forget this.
Forget this.
So we see
Isn't
the
that right,
same
Nikki?
thing. We see the same thing in real estate investing, where it's like, I'm going to go be a real estate entrepreneur, and it's only going to take an hour a week, and I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of the first quarter. And it's like, you will wash out quickly.
See, all I really have to do is just find 4 houses, and I make $250,000 per house, and I'll be a millionaire.
Yeah,
That's all you have to do. On paper, it sounds great.
that's all you got to do.
Hey, Jason, where are the really hot areas in real estate?
Oh, don't even get me started on that. So last night did an event. It was a great event. Fort Bend RIA is one of my favorite places to go. It's one of the reasons we sponsor those guys down there.
It's not the biggest, but it's a good quality group.
It's a good group.
a good, very geo-targeted group. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I can drive a golf ball to my house from there, so that's the other reason I like going to the Fort Bend
I don't
RIA.
think you can.
No, I can't. It is pretty fun. It's like one exit away from the house.
Right.
But in any case, it was fascinating. Some of the questions that were asked, I actually said, I was sitting on the panel. There were 4 of us on the panel. And we were talking about the market and changes and all that other stuff. And there was a question asked about what are the hot areas of town? Where would you invest to experience the most appreciation? And, of course, what I've been saying and what you've been saying for the last 4 years is, man, we invest in the burbs, and we don't look for that. I don't really care. I know the good money is in the middle of the market, right?
Yeah.
It's the 322 house out in the burbs and Katy and Sugar Land and Atascocita, Kingwood, Humble, and Spring.
In statistics,
Woodlands and all that.
median means something.
Yeah, it's the middle number, right?
Right.
So that's the market we've always been after. And I kid you not, the guys on the panel, and I know these guys really well. They've all done high-end flips. They've done new construction. They've done $1 million homes. They've done stuff in the worst area of town. And they all said the same thing I've been saying for the last 4 years, where they said, you know what, we've done all that. And sometimes you make a lot of money. Sometimes you lose a lot of money. But you know what? Doing the houses out in the burbs and the median market makes the most money. And so
Well, we know somebody that's doing new construction on $1.5 to $2 million houses. And man, I don't wish him ill or anything like that. I mean, good for him, but no way in the world would I do that, because that's the market it's a little bit like the condo market. You know, it's the canary in the coal mine, right? It's the last to rise and it's the first to fall, and it's not necessarily a stable market. And yeah, your holding costs are just going to eat you alive in that marketplace.
what's fascinating to me is that there are the same number of buyers for houses $75,000 and below as there are between $2 million and above. And what a lot of people don't understand is
I'd argue there's more.
there's
because
more $2 million and above.
No, there's more below 75,000.
We can go on. What would be interesting is to look. You know, I can pull that in HAR pretty quickly.
Because, you know, I look at we just stuck some signs out on a house in Baytown, and, you know, we haven't even set a price on it, but it's probably going to sell for around $40,000. I guarantee you my phone has blown up just off of some signs over the last, you know, a week to 10 days. And I promise you, if I put up signs in front of a $2 million house, I don't think it'd be blowing up quite
Well,
the same.
here's my point. Those two groups are so far away from the mean
Yeah.
that any little changes in the market really, in other words, financing is a great example. It's not easy. I don't care how much money you make. It's not easy to get financing for a $2 million house.
It's not.
And it's really hard to get for a house $75,000 and below.
Well, you
So
can't get it below 50,000.
Right.
Right.
So
50,000 is the minimum
you run
mortgage
into
amount.
you run into some major issues because they're so far from the mean. But as you get closer to the middle market, the business starts becoming a lot easier and a lot more profitable.
But there's a lot more people that can pay cash for a $40,000 house. They can pay cash for a $2 million house and just take financing out of it.
Well, could I go out and buy a $40,000 house today? Absolutely.
Yes.
Am I a buyer in that market?
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Right.
So, yeah,
But,
that's
well,
true.
as an investment property, you would be potentially, right? I mean, and so
I ain't buying no $40,000
no, well,
house.
well, I'm saying in its current condition, right?
Oh, in its current- yeah,
yeah,
sure,
of course,
sure.
right. And that's what I'm saying. And now I'll also say this. I'd say 90% of the people that have been calling these ads are Hispanics. They're people in the construction business, or they have family members that are in the construction business, and they'll pull their family money together and come up with $40,000. They'll finance it internally. And I'd rather be playing in that market than I would be a $2 million house. So
I don't like any of those markets.
Yeah.
I like the middle market. It is real hard to lose money.
Yes.
Real hard.
That's true.
When you're in that middle market. Because that's where all the buyers are
that's
at.
true.
All
There's
the
a lot
buyers
more
are there.
buyers there. That's for sure.
It's the same thing when you and I talk about rentals. You'll get somebody that says, "Oh, well, I want to rent $200,000+
Yeah,
houses,
$300,000 houses.
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
because they rent for like $1,800 a month. What's the point?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the tenant's going to be great and all this. It's like, no, it's so far
Yeah.
away from the mean, it doesn't make any sense. So,
Yeah,
it
your
was a-
vacancies are going to be a lot because how many people can afford a $2,000, $2,200 a month rent? It's a much smaller market.
it's a very small market.
Because those people that can afford that, why aren't they buying?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you're wanting to
Exactly.
qualify those people, and so it's either like they're short timers or they're people with bad credit, and are you going to approve those as your tenants? So anyhow,
So, in any case, that was a really interesting discussion last night. Was, hey, where do you want to spend your time and your money? Where do you want to build your investment portfolio? And so they started talking about. Some folks started talking about Edo and the Hardy Yards and the Heights, and all that nonsense. And I said, hey guys, let me share with you.
Let me
since we're
learn
in
you
Sugar-
something.
So I was like, since we're in Sugarland here, is everybody familiar with Settlers Way? And everyone's like, oh yeah, it's just right off of Highway 6 on your way to Missouri City. If you're going from 59 to 288. And I said, hey, there's a section in there in Settlers Way where the houses are 1,500 square feet or smaller. Really small little houses. I said, how much are those houses selling for right now? And a couple of people were like, $2.25, $2.5, $250,000 for a 1,200 square foot house. I said, yeah, it's like $200 a square foot. What were those houses selling for 10 years ago? Oh, like $110,000, $120,000. So and I said, how much have they been renting for the last 10 years? Probably $1,500 a month, now $2,000 a month. I said, so let me get this straight. Even if you didn't get a deal on the house and you put 20% down, you probably would have been all in for $30,000. You were into a house for $120,000 that's now worth double in 10 years. And during that 10-year time period, you probably enjoyed $350, $400 a month in cash flow.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that stuff in Edo and the Heights
Is a better deal.
is a better deal than that? I don't think so. Do you I mean, how soundly do you sleep at night if you've got a rental property in Sugar Land versus a house in Edo or in the Heights? We had some friends of ours that moved out of the Heights because of the crime issues. They were living in almost $1 million home. So do you sleep pretty soundly at night? Do you worry about your condenser disappearing in Sugar Land? In fact, you can probably leave the door to your house open and nobody's going to... I can tell you the kids in our elementary school don't even lock their bikes up. I mean, it's that versus I want to go into this area where I'm going to gentrify the area. No, you're not. You're going to lose money. You're going to make some money. You're going to make some real good money on some deals, and then you're going to lose your brains on some of these other things. So it's like, I don't get the fascination. And here's the deal. When someone says, what's the hottest markets? It's along the same question of what's the secret marketing tip? What's the secret sales tip? It's the
1 minute.
I'm trying to get something for nothing over on everybody else. And that doesn't work in life, and it doesn't work in business.
Well, if you understand anything about economics, anytime there's excess profits, because that's really what they're looking for is where are the excess profits?
Right.
They're always chasing alpha, right? And by the time they discover where that area is, the marketplace will beat those excess profits out of the market. And it's a pendulum that swings, right? And it will overcompensate, and you'll have smaller returns. So right now, everybody figured out that was a hot market. And if you didn't know about it when it was hot, then and you're buying now, it's not the same deal at 220 that it was when it was 110.
Right.
So what you're really asking is, where are those $110,000 deals that'll be worth $220,000 in 5 years? And I've given up predicting futures. But what I can tell you is that you look at where are areas that people want to live, buy houses in areas where people want to live. And that demand continues. And really what it is no shocker, I'm going to tell a little secret. After the break, I'm going to tell the secret of how to find the neighborhoods that people want to live in. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817.
Mike's off.
All right, Facebook
Are
folks,
you
I can let you in on it
expecting to post
first.
accurately,
Then I'll
on
tell the radio
time, and
people
with lots
later.
of communication
It's where
on
the
your
good
home
schools
purchase?
are.
You've come to the right place.
People
I'm
want their
Jennifer
kids to be
Hernandez,
educated.
Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started.
This can't
I'm
be
Jennifer
right.
What?
Hernandez, the Hernandez team.
It's telling
at
me,
Legacy
I'm looking at
Mutual
solds
Mortgage.
for the last year,
Jennifer.legacymutual.com
single family,
Yeah.
or
above
call
200, above 2 million.
3611. Again,
Sold?
Jennifer.legacymutual.com.
It's telling me
We
there's
can't wait to consult with you
78,000. I
soon.
cannot be
NMLS
right.
514497.
Oh, that's or less.
Housing
I'm sorry.
Opportunity Lender.
I'm like,
NMLS
there's no way
514497.
that's right.
As a real estate investor, you rely on your property inspector to determine the
That's a
current
plus.
condition of the home and your potential
makes a
return
difference.
on investment.
288.
Inspections
So there are
was founded by investor Jeremy
2,274
Humphrey.
houses below 75 grand.
Yeah.
Principal
And
inspections will give you
288
turnkey
above
inspections
2 million.
that are high quality,
Okay, here,
affordable,
but that's on HAR.
pertinent to investment.
That is
So-
sold on HAR.
How many above $2 million houses do you think didn't sell on HAR?
Humphrey comes from a family of real estate
That would be
investors.
interesting.
And then how many houses below 75,000 didn't sell on
that's on
HAR?
HAR,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
Actually, no,
I,
I
think,
can't.
I think that's 0 on above 2 million, and it's probably a pretty high number.
There are entire neighborhoods that they don't ever make it to HAR. Like,
Right.
I got a buddy in San Antonio, Alamo Heights. Most of those never make it on HAR.
Correct.
I'll tell you, I can pull that data.
I
can pull that data.
To principalinspections.com.
But knowing some agents that have operated in that plus that $2 million plus range, or $1 million plus range,
Did you know that
they're
there
always
are
listing
over
them on HAR.
24
I mean,
trillion
always.
in retirement accounts
see
in
here.
the U.S. Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas.
This is going to be the
At
challenge.
Quest
What
IRA,
geography
we
do
offer
we
retirement
use?
accounts They can be
His
used
heart
to
is
invest
so
in real
big.
estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs
wonder if we can
to
do
fund
a
real
zip
estate
code
deals all
plus
over
a
the
radius
country. We don't sell
of
any
100
investments or
miles.
give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more
Although only lets you go out
information,
25
visit our
miles. Well, that's not
website
gonna
at
work.
questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs.
The other problem is, how do you tease out distressed assets out of Matrix?
Are you looking for
There's not going to be very many 2 million
One
plus
minute,
houses
guys.
that are distressed.
Right.
Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab.
They're showing
from start to
708
finish with a
houses
highly
that have been
efficient,
flooded by
standardized
Harvey.
process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
Hey, Andy, I just sent that email to you.
That's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110. Call Jason or Tom
What?
at 713-785-1817.
Wow.
That's
Or look for
interesting.
us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/RightPathRealEstate.
Hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. I promised before the break to tell you how to find where the hot areas are going to be.
Oh, no, wait. They probably need to sign up for our class and go do our special mentoring program before we give them that secret, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm
Are
going
we
to
just giving it away on the radio?
I'm gonna give this
All right,
this
fine.
nugget away. It's where the good schools are. Yeah, people want their kids to be educated, and because of that, they'll pay more to be in good quality schools. And in fact, if you look, I've always had this idea. Imagine if you could go into an area where the schools are terrible and buy enough houses and turn them into rentals, really qualify those tenants, so that you could make the schools better over a 5-year period of time. And then what would that do to property values? Would they double?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I got an idea, but I'll have to tell you off air.
Oh,
If there's
okay.
any one area of town I'd want to speculate in,
Yeah.
there's a little pocket that we've talked about before in Fort Bend that I think you could do,
You could do exactly
a
that.
lot of
Yeah.
good with. Well, and the schools are already good. It's just that little neighborhood is terrible.
Yeah.
And I think you can have a huge impact on it. So just for grins, I pulled up Open Har here. That's our MLS in Houston. There have only been 708 sales that are identified as houses that were flooded by Harvey. We know that there were about 266,000 homes.
Now, I'm curious, of
They were
those,
flooded by Harvey.
how many of those were listed on HAR, sold on MLS, but they were pre-rehab?
I think the vast majority of these are unimproved.
Okay, got it. All right.
But what we can do is we probably can look at it by date.
Yeah.
Because my guess is those are just now coming on the market.
Right.
So we had that conversation last night too. It was, well, what are these houses worth after they flooded? Now they're back on the market. And I said, well, here's the deal. Memorial is way different than Kingwood. It's just reality,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I don't think we're going to see much price depreciation, if any at all, in a neighborhood like Memorial or in Piney Point. In fact, the folks that live in Piney Point are not moving, right?
Yeah, right.
They may just destroy the house and build something new, something bigger and nicer. I mean, you got 3, 4, 5, 6 acres right here inside the Beltway at
Right.
I-10 and the Beltway. You're not moving. Same thing with the Memorial folks. The folks I think that are going to end up moving out of Memorial, those folks a little bit older, 70s, 80s, empty nesters, probably. I think a lot of families are realizing after they've worked with mom and dad demoing the house that maybe mom and dad need to move on.
Right.
Mom and dad probably shouldn't be by themselves anymore. So that is happening, but I don't see Memorial going anywhere.
No.
But Cinco Ranch, I think there's a lot of places to live around Katy, right?
There's quite a few.
And I could make some comments about Cinco Ranch before the storm. I don't think it was I think it was good neighborhood, but there were obviously some other alternatives there. That's where you can see the changes in value. If you look at areas in Kingwood, south of Kingwood Boulevard, that runs right there off of 59. I think there's going to be some impacts on those houses,
right? Because
you can go literally right across the street. So it's Spring and Cypress the same way. So when someone says, "Hey, what's going to happen to these houses once they hit the market? What percent price decrease should we give to these things?" You don't know. I don't. Memorial's way different than some of these other areas of town. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. But that's all going to happen in the next 6 months.
Well, I had an agent that called me about a Westbury house, and I, just speculating, because that's what we're doing at this point, is speculating what we think that value is going to be in a twice flooded house in Westbury. And I thought, I tell you, the number that I'm kind of starting to feel comfortable about is about 15% per flood. Remember when we were originally talking about these numbers, about 10% to 40% was the range that we were kind of playing with. And now I'm seeing that some of these houses that we're buying, like in Bear Creek, that are once flooded houses, we're taking a 10 or 15% discount. And especially in the buy and hold marketplace, we feel like that because you're not really trying to turn those in the marketplace quickly, that if we don't have any more flooding activity, that you're really looking at 3 or 4 years, you hold on to it as a buy and hold, and the neighborhood's probably going to forget, the marketplace is going to forget about that event. Well, if you're trying to flip a house, now you're talking about you're trying to sell the house because your holding costs are going to kill you in a time period where people haven't forgotten about it. So if it's a once flooded house, you take a house that was $315 before, you take a $45,000 or $50,000 haircut, that might entice somebody to come back and buy a house because you're getting into a neighborhood, good schools, all those kind of things. What about a second flooded house? I mean, another 15%. And so now then you look at a third flooded house. I mean, the only area that we've really looked at that have been flooded 3 times is really like Meyerland. And we looked at what would the lot be worth. And now you start looking at new construction. Does somebody want to pay the same to live in Meyerland that they could, pay to live in Bel Air? Because that's really your competition. And the answer is no. No one. We've polled a lot of people, right? No one wants to pay the same.
Here's the problem: is you get into higher priced markets, right? And I've told this story on the radio before. So we live down in Sugar Land, right? Yeah. And there comes a price at some point where you say, you know what? I make enough money that I've got choices,
right?
And if my choice is this $1 million home in Meyerland or the $1 million home in Bel Air, but it's smaller, but I don't have to deal with the flooding.
Right.
I'm literally going a quarter mile away in Bel Air.
Yeah.
I mean, so we got a family that moved in right after the storm. Remember, school had been open for 2 weeks and the storm blows in. And so my wife's sitting there chatting with this new mom. Hey, Mom, where'd you come from? We didn't see you 2 weeks ago. Well, our house flooded for the second time in Meyerland, and we just said we're tired of it. And we came down here and bought a house in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Moved whatever dry stuff they had left.
Everything on the second floor.
Everything's on the second floor because we're not dealing with it ever again. We're just not. And we got some friends of ours that got flooded out. And my wife told me she went over and helped them out. And she said when she was chatting with her friend who's a mom of 2 small kids, they were on a boat. I think they live in Seco Ranch, if I remember, somewhere out in Katy. She said, I'll never forget putting my children into life jackets, putting them into the boat, and motorboating away from the house and thinking to myself, we will never live here again. And here's the deal. People who've got means, they will absolutely they will never live there again.
Right.
So the idea that some of these areas are not going to experience a downturn. In Meyerland, I think it's different. I think they need to change the name to Meyerland, just from a branding standpoint. Yeah. But folks in other markets,
Meyer Lakes,
Lakes of Meyerland or something like that. Although I will tell you this: when you pull down all the neighborhoods that have been flooded, they all have a river, lake, bayou, something. It's
in the street name, right?
In the street, in the street name or in the neighborhood name.
Yeah.
But in any case, so what people
Meyer
with
Shores,
Meyer Shores, there you go, Shores of Meyerland. So people have got folks with means who've got choices. However, when you look at a neighborhood like Memorial, and I think Meyerland, Westbury, when you start looking at, well, we can't rebuild this house because the structure's been depreciated so much, they will go back with new construction. But that means that house that's sitting there that was worth $450,000 2 years ago is not worth $450,000 anymore. is it worth 250 grand? Because that's, arguably maybe what lot value is. I had to pull up and see what lot value is going for in Meyerland, Westbury. But is it worth 100 grand? Is it worth 150? We were down in Meyerland in Westbury shortly after the storm because we've had some folks in our office that got flooded, and then I've got some friends that live there. And it was interesting having this conversation with them. And you can already see in their section of Westbury where there's new construction going up. And they just finished this beautiful remodel of their house. It looks fantastic. And I said, guys, this is a beautiful house. But you know what you guys are going to end up selling this for 10 years from now? And her husband's name is Jason. He laughed. He goes, yeah, they're just going to tear this down and put a big house on top of it.
It's a lot value.
It's lot value, right? So it was an interesting discussion. But I think those areas of town, I mean, they're going to reduce down to whatever lot value cost is so you can put new construction up because that's really the only way to ensure you don't get flooded. Although your garage still gets flooded and so do your cars. But that's a whole different discussion. So...
although I just talked to a mechanic friend of mine, you can get one of those lifts. You
get the lift.
Yeah, Christian Brothers Automotive. They said between 10 and 15,000, you get a really nice lift. Yeah, per vehicle.
It just gets old.
Yeah, right.
It just gets old.
But if you build that $30,000 into the into the construction cost of the new house, you just raise it up. Have a 2-story garage and raise it up.
Yeah, that's true. You can certainly do it. Then you can have RV parking, although the RV gets flooded. It's just there's no win.
Right.
There's no win.
Yeah.
I think the one-time flooded houses. It's kind of like Tropical Storm Allison.
Yeah.
We've never had a discussion about, hey, did it flood during TSA? Because that was like a million years ago in 2002. So it's not like once Harvey is over and it's 3, 4, 5 years down the road, nobody's going to care. But these next 3, 4, 5 years,
people are going to care.
They're going to care. And I'll tell you this. I made this prediction last night. I said the people who are going to lose between let's say year 2 and year 5 post-flood are not the houses that were flooded. It's the houses that didn't flood that are in the same neighborhood of flooded houses because the houses that didn't flood will not have gone through a rehab.
Right.
And so somebody's going to say 3 to 5 years from now, because Houstonians typically have a short memory, they'll say, it was Harvey, it was a million years ago. Hey, look at this beautiful house that was rehabbed in the last 3 years. Or I can live in this thing that's never flooded, that hasn't been rehabbed in 25 years.
Yeah, since the 1990s.
Yeah,
right.
90s. So I can tell you right now, those are the values that are going to get most hurt. Over the 3 to 5 year period are the houses in neighborhoods that didn't flood, that haven't been rehabbed, that are trying to sell our competitors to the houses that have flooded, that have been rehabbed. It's my prediction. Be year 3 to 5 when you'll start to see that.
Hey, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. If you want to call and ask any questions about finding deals, analyzing deals, funding deals, disposing of deals, fixing deals, all of that, buy and hold, buy, fix, and flip, wholesaling, we can answer your questions. Have a great break.
Dude, check this out.
Mike's off.
These are all the houses that are identified as sold and flooded from Harvey.
Attorney and avid real estate investor.
What's interesting, this is only 130. But Cinco Ranch, holy cow.
That exists from owning real estate. At Anderson Business, Legal, and Tax Advisors, we specialize in protecting real estate investors in all 50 states. In addition to structuring your business for optimum protection, we provide guidance so you pay the least amount of taxes available under the law. We have 100.
Oh, come on, I want to pay the most amount of taxes.
To CPAs to estate
That's
planners
what I'm all
and
about.
much more. Download our free ebook, The Invisible Investor Strategy, today at AndersonAdvisors.com or call for a free risk
Ginger, I like
reduction
that.
analysis and financial blueprint at 800-706-4741. Anderson Business Advisors will help you keep more of what you earn. Call us today at 800-706-4741.
I got to admit, it's kind of weird when you guys sign in on the radio show when it has your name and it says, are watching you. Seems creepy to me. I don't know. They're watching.
The experts agree. Single-family real estate is one of the best investments you can make. Find out how JB Fund Services offers a 9% preferred return and up to a 13% waterfall. Call us today at 281-915-0906 or visit our website,
$1.3 million. That is
That's
way too big.
281-915-0906.
Yeah, this is interesting. Very,
You
very
can inherit a great
interesting.
investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly,
Let's go
what
back
to
to
do
Craig
to maximize
Toe.
your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. NextGen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at NextGenAppraisal.
That's what we call a target-rich environment.
Do you have cracks in your brick, doors that stick, or sheetrock that's coming apart? Then you may have foundation movement. Due to our expansive soils in the Houston area, probably not a question of if you have movement, but when. Call Foundation Check for a truly independent, unbiased foundation evaluation. Foundation Check has been in business since 2009. Evaluations.
You still there, Nikki?
Of repairing
yes.
Well, it's dropping in and out. It's kind of weird.
Work, but we are in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house flippers, landlords, or even owner-occupied properties. Each of our files
we got 90
is reviewed
seconds.
by a licensed engineer. Remember to check before ever repair. Call 346-702-3825. That's 346.
How much time we have left?
702-3825. Or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com.
Oh, Ginger, that's great news.
Foundationcheck.com.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your property.
All right, we got 30 seconds.
All right.
Time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
This is Business 1110.
Call Jason or Tom at 713-785-1817 or look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/RightPathRealEstate.
Hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Jason will be back in just a minute. But, really what we want to talk about is, if you're looking at your retirement, a lot of people don't look at how much do I want to have in order to retire. And when you look at, what's the monthly number that it would take that if you had that coming in every single month, month in and month out, that you would say, I'm done with this working thing. Some people, when we sit down and talk to them, they say, hey, that's $5,000 a month. If I could just have $5,000 a month positive cash flow coming in, then I'd be done. Some people it's $10,000. Some people it's more than that. Have you ever sat down and said, retirement looks like this? That at 65, at 70, at 70, whatever that number is, have you put together on paper what it looks like? And the sad thing is that most Americans never have. Jason, I'm just talking about that. Most people have never done the math, what it takes to retire on a monthly number. What does it take to retire at $5,000 a month?
Or it's like $3 million.
It's about $3 million.
This is what I've told, like between $1.7 and $3 million. Here's what I told people: if you want to be poor, retire.
Yeah,
that's what most Americans' life looks like in retirement, and that's you baby boomers who've done a good job saving.
Right.
Most have not.
Right.
Especially the Gen X and folks that are younger than me. You guys, retirement is not going to be something that happens for most of us. It'd be fine for me, but most people, it's not going to work out real well. Social Security is a joke. Those pension, and I'll tell you, even those of y'all who are first responders out there know this, especially with HFD here in Houston. Those of you in Dallas who are part of the Dallas Police Department, y'all know exactly what's going on with pensions. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
They've been assuming 7 and 8% annual growth rates, which ain't gonna happen. And there are pensions that are extraordinarily underfunded. So
what does that mean when a pension's underfunded? What does that mean?
Well, I'll tell you what happened in Dallas. It means there are bank runs on the pension fund. That's essentially what happened there, and they've stopped some of that stuff. But it means you're not going to get your check. They're going to start doing haircuts. Oh, I thought I was going to retire with $7,000 a month. No, I'm retiring with $3,500 a month.
Well, that's not a big deal, is it?
No,
Just make up the difference with your savings, right?
Yeah, and how long does that last, right?
Yeah, sure.
Most people, the way they save for retirement is they get this big nest egg together, and then they pray they die before the money runs out.
Right.
I'd rather own just a bunch of rental properties.
Is there a better plan?
Yeah, I think there's a better path.
There's a better plan.
I think there's a right path. That starts on Thursday
at
our free event.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's buying a handful of rental properties. You guys don't have to build. Somebody asked me last night, hey, what's it like to build, 100 house a year house buying company? I did think it was funny that everybody answered that question, but I don't think any of them ever had a 100 house a year house buying company. But, dude, I said, before I answer this question, how many of you guys in the room want to buy 100 houses a year? And like 2 people raise their hand. Ironically, both of them were folks that are in our base camp group.
Yeah.
So I said, by and large, you don't need 100 houses.
Right.
You need a real magic number to do really well in retirement. It's about 25.
25 paid for houses.
If you got 25 paid for houses, even if they're not paid for and you're making $300 a month on them,
yeah,
you're gonna be just fine.
$7,500 a month.
$7,500 a month. That's not a bad. And buying 25 houses, let's say over 10 years, is 2.5 houses a year.
Yeah, it's a really good part-time.
It's a it's
a good part-time hobby.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's say 5 years. You're buying 5 houses a year?
Yeah.
That's not exactly setting the world of work on fire.
Right.
And you can easily retire with 25 if your needs are not more than $7,500 a month, or if they're free and clear, $25,000 a month. Now, if you've got much higher income goals than that, you're going to have to buy more. But for the average American, I mean, even 10 houses is plenty.
Yeah.
25 is a little bit of a stretch goal, but it doesn't take much. You don't have to have a portfolio of 10,000 of these things. Well, Brant and I were joking about this last night. He goes, I only meet 2 types of people. People who want to buy 10 houses or people that buy 100. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because it's easier on the spreadsheet and you can add a 0 and look, oh my gosh, look how big my portfolio is. But
because I can 10x it.
10x it, bro. 10x. Anyway, so you don't need 1,000 of these things.
Or you just need a couple of Bitcoins.
Oh, don't get me started on Bitcoins. Don't get me started. Hey, have you noticed?
Or Ripple.
Oh, my gosh. Have you noticed how quiet the Bitcoin losers have been on Facebook? It's gotten real quiet.
They've moved to later at night. I don't know if you've noticed that. Most of them are doing Facebook Lives after 10 o'clock. Yeah,
and after about 17 beers or something.
Hey, so I'm curious about something. If crypto's here to stay, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. And Bitcoin was the first, right? There's a couple of hundred of these now, right?
There's a few thousand of them,
right?
Yes.
So isn't that kind of like, okay, so Beanie Baby was the first.
That's right.
But now we're investing in all these other stuffed animals as a currency, right?
I heard the tulips were pretty good.
Right.
So first there were the tulip bulbs, and then there were the this. And that. It's what's so fascinating is everyone tells
Wasn't
me.
it the Hunt brothers that tried to monopolize on the silver market?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
What's amazing to me is when I hear people say, well, it's a new technology. And I'm sitting here thinking in the back of my mind, do you really want your currency denominated into a technology that literally eats itself every 18 months? I mean, that just logically that fails the test.
You went way over a lot of people's heads.
Yeah, no, right over their head. But in any case, I think it's ridiculous. I'll tell you, well, that's outside the bounds of the show. I was going to tell you, if I were doing this, there's a way I would do it. But real estate is much more lucrative. The crypto stuff is a little bit more of like a hobby than anything else. But yeah, I noticed there were I was getting emails for a while there and paid marketing in my Gmail account teaching me how to invest my IRA in Bitcoins. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Why don't you just take the money out, set it on fire, and at least you'd be warm. It's like this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, right.
and I love it. It's these real estate gurus I've been arguing with on Facebook. And I'm like, wait a second. You teach people how to invest in real estate. Now, is it a risk-free investment? No. But real estate,
It's a
over
risk-controlled investment.
Yeah, real estate over the long term is one of the most stable investments you can make. And you're telling me investing in a cryptocurrency is the same level of risk. That's why I realized they really don't do real estate. Or they don't understand.
Yeah,
it.
they
I
don't.
find
They
that
don't
more
understand basic economics. Yeah, or the psychology. I mean, like, hey, there's a functioning purpose on a piece of real estate. You know, you can live in it.
We're in the shelter business,
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, you can't shelter in a Bitcoin.
And it's really easy to get them stolen.
Yeah.
It's also really easy for the government to shut them down.
Or
Everyone thinks
those
that won't happen.
exchanges. I mean, those exchanges. You say, yeah, you know, everybody sent us that money, and yeah, we're done now.
We're done.
Yeah, we got
We're gonna close the exchange.
We got a couple billion in the exchange. So yeah, see ya.
We don't know. Somebody must have hacked the exchange.
Yeah, who owns that exchange? Yeah, go after that. They don't even know who the guy is that invented Bitcoin. That's a little bit curious, isn't it?
I like the
they assume it's this guy Sato, right?
Yeah,
but he's not admitting to it.
No, you know what I really like is the guy who invented Litecoin, who sold all of his Litecoin 2 weeks ago.
Right.
He sold out of everything.
Well, conflict of interest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right.
And so I mentioned this on the radio show. It was either a radio show or Facebook Live rant I had. It's kind of like you got a founder CEO of a company.
Yeah, like Microsoft.
Yeah. You got Bill Gates.
And he sold all his Microsoft
And he
stock.
sells all his Microsoft stock 5 years in.
Yeah, just because it's conflict of interest.
Hey, it's a conflict of interest. You know, although I don't understand. Do you understand the conflict there? I really don't. We want to make our company more valuable, so I'm going to sell the stock because there may be a conflict of interest in making the company more valuable.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So
Does
back to
anybody
real estate.
Does anybody follow that
so,
logic?
So back to real estate. So what's
Oh, you know what? No, this is a great real
Yeah.
estate analogy.
Yeah.
This is kind of like I teach real estate.
Yeah, so therefore I'm going to sell all my real estate.
But
holdings.
I've sold a lot of my real estate.
Yeah.
We know somebody who's done that. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, buy this, go into this asset class, and they've sold all of it. And I'm like, wait a second. People are paying you to consult them on how to buy this asset class, and the Bitcoin piece. Like, I don't understand the mentality. It's the something for nothing mentality, right? And actually, you can see what's going on in Japan and China and how all that's impacting the market.
in South Korea and
Yeah. And that's right, because there's a bunch of South Koreans that are doing it too.
Are you concerned about being flooded? Rent houses in 4 to 5 years. Banks require flood insurance. FEMA maps change. Hard disclosure requirements. Well, here's what I'll say is, you know, we had an unusual event in the last 6 months ago, or actually 4 months ago, right? In August. You know, there's been a few hurricanes that have hit the shores of the U.S. in the last 100 years. And never has a storm ever dropped 50 inches of rain on one city in the history. I mean, from Maine to Seattle.
1 minute.
The entire coastline of both coasts, Mississippi, Florida, North Carolina, I mean, everywhere that a storm can hit, no storm in the history of storms has ever dropped that much rain. And so all of these first-time flooded houses, if it takes another storm like that to happen, I'll take those odds.
I'll tell you what, and somebody will always say, well, if it's happened once, it'll happen again. Yeah, that's true, but here's the problem. If we think there's going to be 50-inch rain events every couple of years, I'm moving out of the city.
Yeah, right.
Because it's not just the houses that are flooding. The whole city can't handle that much water.
Right.
In fact, no city in the country can handle that much water.
Right.
I'm moving.
Denver might. But
Denver be
yeah. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817.
Mike's off.
Taxes, just the sound of that.
Hey, Nikki, you produce some other shows too, right?
Yeah, I do one on Saturday.
Yeah, and so do you produce the same shows the same way for different? I mean, like I know you've done away with the countdown for us because that's kind of what we like. Do you still do the countdown for the other folks, or?
Well, they're live in studio, so I do the hand gesture.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay.
And don't forget to tell us you heard about us at Right Path Real Estate.
Are you a realtor or seller?
Jeff,
I put bump music for them, so if you guys just tell me a genre or something you guys like, and I can pull some music.
You can do it like right now?
No, I can't do it right now.
Oh.
But I mean, like, I can get a list, you know, then I can, you know, input it or whatever.
Oh, okay. I can send you a
Dedicated
list.
team of a coordinator and a contract to close.
Oh, Ginger.
associate.
So if you found a
Give me
Pier and
call
Beam
today
guy, are
at
you going to do the rehab? Because I know you've
713-579-3611,
wholesaled a couple.
and
Dude, we
let's
really
talk
need to get on
about how
top
we
of the
can help
testimonials.
you
We've
on
got
your
so many people that are doing deals and starting to lose track.
Yeah.
Oh, our guy in Philly.
Yeah.
Is that where Nick is at? Remember we got on Pathfinder and told him, hey, go call that family, go drive out there and meet with them. He got that deal under contract.
Oh, awesome.
Probably going to make
Oh, shoot. Wow.
All of our files.
Killing
Give you
it.
the best
Yeah.
foundation analysis in today's market. Remember to check before ever repair. Call 346.
Oh, was that a text? Was I not supposed to talk about those numbers?
3825, or you can reach us online at
Hey, Jeff, we're
foundationcheck.com.
glad we can keep you entertained.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at
Oh, you guys need to sign up for the
fasttrackremodeling.com.
weekend retreat.
Fast
This is
Track
going to be a
Remodeling
big one.
specializes in turnkey remodeling of
This is gonna be a
single-family
big
investment
one.
properties, whether it's a flip,
You just got
rehab,
that text
or a
too.
rental
It's going to be a
rehab.
big one.
No more managing it yourself. No more
I
doing the
bet we
work
have
yourself.
I bet we have
Fast
a
Track
Hyundai
Remodeling
heads
really
in there
does manage it all.
by the
So
event.
give us a call today at
Actually, I didn't get that.
832-742-9992.
Real estate investors.
am I on that
if you're not familiar
text?
with Quest IRA,
Maybe you're not.
Let me tell you what you're missing.
Why not?
We've got free weekly
You're not worthy, I
educational
guess.
classes,
Yeah.
networking
Nope, you're not on it.
opportunities, and the ability
Nice.
to tap
You don't
into
get to know.
trillions of
Yeah.
dollars for your real estate.
I'll just be
investing
surprised when I
field.
get there.
Come by our office or join
You know,
us
you're not the
remotely
one that's
as we
usually
simulcast
surprised. I'm the
all
one
of
that's
our
surprised
educational
because
classes
I'm kind of
every
paying
Tuesday
attention to this
morning
stuff,
and
especially the lead
evening.
week
For
up
more
to it.
information,
Do the radio show and I
call
walk
us
in.
at
I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Fun IRAs, or visit our website at questira.com.
Probably not have another bio
As a real estate
looking for
investor,
something
you
just
rely
like this
on
one.
your
Okay,
property
cool.
inspector to determine the current condition of the home and your potential return on investment from an investor's point of view. Principal Inspections was founded by investor
Well, hey, Michelle.
Jeremy Humphrey to do just
Long time no
that.
speak.
Principal Inspections works from
Happy
the
New Year
investor's
to
point
you.
of view, providing affordable, fast, quality inspections with information pertinent to investors while not clouding the report with unnecessary details. Principal Inspections will save you time and money. Call Principal Inspections.
We ought to do lunch sometime soon.
832-684-5516
Like our
or
Mount
online
Mount
at
Everest and climb on my
principalinspections.com.
fingers on
License
Mount
number
Everest.
21264.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly,
We're going.
Oh, did you know that
while mitigating risk. This is
uh,
exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals.
our next gen girl, she may have gotten married over the holidays.
Oh, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
she got engaged
cool.
and then
Investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth,
Michelle,
but a comprehensive
all
analysis
tied
of the
and
market.
tied knot and
Give
everything.
Next Gen a call at 713-346-9911.
That'd be great. How about probably next week would be best. I'm pretty well slammed this week, but next week would be good.
Are small returns getting in the way of your retirement plans? Why settle for mediocre results? There's a better place to
So the
invest.
boys got new
The
sleeping
experts agree.
bags and headlamps and all that.
Oh,
so we're
yeah?
going,
Sleeping outside?
Yeah, no, well, no,
Oh.
yeah, we're
How
going
JB
camping this
Fund
weekend.
Services
Nice.
offers a 9%
We signed Cameron up
preferred
for
return
First
and up to
Tee, so
13%
First Tee starts
waterfall.
this weekend.
Call us today at
Learn how to play golf. It'll be
281-915-0946
Oh, that'll be nice.
or
I
visit
saw
our
a Jack in the
website,
Box commercial the other day that
jbfundservices.com.
briefly
That's
mentioned
281-915-0946.
Bitcoin going bust. That's hilarious.
This investment is offered to accredited investors.
This is Business 1110.
All right, I'll call you after the show.
Tom at 713-785-1817 or look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/RightPathRealEstate.
Hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. So we've only got a couple of minutes left in the show, and so what I really want to tell you about is if you're not on track for the kind of retirement that you want to have. In other words, it takes, if you've not done the math, it's going to take about $1.3 million to about $3 million to retire somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 a month of passive income. If you're not on track, like if you're in your 50s and you don't have like 2/3 of that already saved, or at least half of it already saved, then you need a different plan. So what we would recommend is, why don't you come to our free event? We talk about how to grow wealth and income. You can compress time. That's really what it's about, is compressing time. So come to our free event. It's this Thursday. Go to rightpathrealestate.com. You can register for the event. You can try talking us down on the price, but you probably won't have much success on that because it's free to go. Although it will cost you your time. And then we're going to talk to you about coming to our weekend retreat. And that next weekend retreat is this January 18th, 19th, and 20th. The bad news about the retreat is that it's probably going to fill up if you wait until the week of to sign up for it. So you're going to want to go to rightpathrealestate.com or email support@rightpathrealestate.com in order to come to the event. And you're like, but Tom, I don't know anything about real estate. Yeah, that's fine, because we can give you a strategy, whether you want to be part-time or you want to be full-time. You say, but Tom, I'm really busy. You know what? We have people that have a little time to invest, and we have people that have a lot of time to invest. We have people that have a little bit of money to invest. We have people that have a lot of money to invest. We have people that have no experience when they come to us. We have people that have a lot of. One of our coaching students, they had 350 houses in their portfolio when they came to us. And really, if they hadn't have been with us, they would have panicked and made some really bad choices. And instead, they're gonna be doubling or tripling their net worth over this next, what would you say, 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, they should be at 618 months.
Yeah. So we can help you if you want to set on a better path for your retirement. If you want to be able to not rely on Social Security, Medicare, all of that as your plan for retirement, your 401k. The problem with 401ks is we don't really know what that's going to be worth, 8 or 10 years from now. What I can tell you is real estate 10 years from now is going to be worth more money than it is today. You can bank on that. Any chance that real estate's not worth more money 10 years from now than it is today?
If it's not, buy more of it.
Is there a possibility the stock market's going to be worth less in 10 years than it is today?
No, because it's all inflation, right?
Right.
Now, the trick is, here's the problem. Most people have to time their retirement. How many people tried to retire in 2008 and 2009 to get nailed by 50%?
Right.
And then it took another 6-7 years before they could retire. If you're doing single-family real estate, in particular rental properties, who cares if the market falls apart? They're still going to rent.
Yeah.
They're still going to cash flow.
Absolutely.
So, in fact, in down markets, rental rates, lease rates typically go up.
Right.
So you make more money.
Yeah.
And then because real estate's on sale, you end up buying more houses.
30 seconds.
You should.
You should. It's just, it's awful.
So go to rightpathrealestate.com. That is right, R-I-G-H-T, path, P-A-T-H, realestate.com.
20 seconds.
And register for our free event. And we'll see you there on Thursday. And then we'll also look forward to seeing you on January 18th, 19th, and 20th. So I'll be in the studio tomorrow with Build Your Team Thursday. And Jason will be in the studio by himself on Friday. And then, Jason will be back in the studio next Wednesday. Have a good day, guys.
All right, have a good one.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio.